Okay, so this is just a quick tutorial on how to sort of get Lorcana set up on Tabletop Simulator and a few of the bits on how to use it. So, first of all, you need to get Tabletop Simulator on Steam and then go to the workshop, type in Lorcana, and it's the Evo Lorcana scripted 1v1 table. There's also the 4-player table. And then you just want to make sure that you're subscribed here. And then you can go back to tabletop, play. And then while that loads up, I'm going to go over to Dreamborn. I'm going to pick a deck. We'll pick this one. You go to menu, share, copy link. This is the link you're going to use to import the deck. You can actually also just use the URL here. Okay, so we're going to create a game, multiplayer. For now, I'm just going to make it public. You can have a server name, a password if you want it to be private. Or even a public one can have a password. And create. And then in here, from the workshop and DLC, you should have games that you've subscribed to. That's a great thing about TTS. There are so many mods for so many games. I use it for tabletop games, as you can see. Alright, so load 1v1 scripted. And then, first thing, go to the deck importer, which is the top right here. Dreamborn, copy paste, sorry, just paste, import, and it might just take a minute, and it should pop up here. Okay, so the first thing I recommend doing is going to the notebook and taking a look at all the chat commands. So that's if I go in here and I, for example, want to roll, I can put !roll and it will roll 6-sided die for me. Saves you getting out the die, but there are die in here. You can see, I'll go through those in a moment. And then your scripting keys. So on your, this is on your number pad. So we'll go through some of those in a bit. Then a couple of other tools explained here, like your inkwell counter, law counter, hand counter, which is over here. This is your law counter. The ink top tool, which is over here. And then you've got the scry tool, which you can use for things for cards like Ariel, for taking the top 4 cards from your deck. Okay, so I recommend going up to here and changing your rotation degree to 90 degrees. You can just click it till it goes to 90. That just means once you have a card, if you hover over it and press Q or E, it will rotate it. Okay, first things first, you can press R to shuffle. I use W, A, D, and S to move around this way, and then if you hold your right click in on the mouse, you can move that angle a little bit. You can zoom in and out. Okay, M is really good for zooming in on a certain part of the table. And if you have a card, F flips it. And then if you press Alt, you can zoom in on the card so you can read it. So you don't have to mess about too much. Just press Alt and you can see it. Okay, so if we're starting a game, shuffle the deck again with R, or you can right click and shuffle. There are some options in here. Then down here you'll see there is a draw opening hand button. Press that and you have your hand. So you should be able to see your hand here. You can press H and it goes away if you don't want it there. Press H again, it'll come back. Now, when you're mulliganing at the start, okay, your second hand is located just behind your first hand. So let's just, I'm not really looking here, but we'll just mulligan. Let's say we want to mulligan these cards. Mulligan the cards, and there you go, all sorted. If you want to give the deck another shuffle, you can, but it automatically does it. Okay, over here, we have the dice. Okay, to shuffle them, you can also just keep tapping R, and it will shuffle them, or you can just use them like normal dice and throw them across the table. We have some -1 counters, -3 counters. We also have plus law counters. Now, if you hover over this and press a button, you can add a specific amount of law. So like John Silver, for example, or Pooh Piglet Captain, you'd add the 2 if his ability is activated. Okay, you've got strength counters here, then reckless, can't quest, and can't ready. Okay, and resist. So let's say it's our turn to ink. You can right click on the card and ink. Okay, the game won't let you ink a card if it is uninkable. It is all scripted. It will tell you in here it cannot be placed in your inkwell. Then if I want to use that ink, I can hover over, press E or Q, and then I can play my card, and then I would click up here to end my turn. Okay, now let's say we're a bit further into the game and we've got these cards. Let's say for whatever reason the goat has +5 law. Okay, if I right click and quest and I have a law counter on it, it will automatically add that extra law that is on the card. Okay, you also, this is your discard power over here. You can discard it this way, or you can manually move it over there to discard it. Now, if someone Brunos you, if we look in the notebook here, we can see a few of the things that are automatic. Drawing cards from your deck, scripted key number 1. So if I press 1 while I've got my numlock on, I'll draw a card on my number pad. Okay, I can also select a couple of cards here to move to my second hand zone with 2. There they go. You've got untapping cards, moving cards to your discard, or destroying certain tokens, moving cards to your first hand zone, questing with selected cards, so that would be if I pressed 6, like this. Okay, they're all a little bit quicker. 10 puts a selected card into my inkwell. Like that. Ooh, I don't know what happened there with Mickey. Never mind. Okay. So yeah, I like to use the right click to ink. Trying to think if there's anything else that I need to tell you. I think that's pretty. Oh, you can change your playmat up here with this one, which is pretty cool. If you do need a refresher on the rules, that's all over here. And I think that is pretty much it. Yeah, and then once you finish the game, you can reset the deck. So if I click this, right, put the top card of your into your inkwell face down and exerted, that will do that automatically. This one, top 4 cards from your deck. Okay, when we're doing it like that, you need to move the ones. So if you already had cards in your hand, let's say these are in our hand, and then we want to look at the top 2. Okay, it will move our hand into the second hand zone. So when you're wanting to put one back on the top or the bottom, you need to move it into the second hand zone and then return to the top. And then it will move your cards back to the front, like main hand zone, okay? When you're using this tool. Automatically push them back. Move the card that you want to keep, or cards, maybe if you're using look at this family, the cards that you want to keep to the back, and then once you've returned, it will shift the other cards to the front out of your second hand zone. And then at the start of your turn, you can ready all your exerted cards using this. And yeah, I think that's about it. If you're playing with somebody else, you can actually click on their name to promote them if you've... I always recommend promoting the other person that you're playing with. It means that they can have access to everything on here. So yeah, good luck.